Hello everybody, today we are making some more with classes. From now on we will probably make most of the things with classes because we learn now how to do everything with classes and how they work instead of just working with functions, and we basically make the same as we would work with the normal functions. And yeah, that's what we do here, and I learned some more with it. And yeah, let's start the video by explaining what I've done. What I have done today is that we have played with vectors in classes, and we basically made a list in here in the main function that we want to add those names into our vector, and we can actually iterate through them with this function here that we can name everyone that is in here. And we made this one before. This is from the, we have made two classes, and this is from the class up here. We just defined something and we can add it to it, and we just said the human is Bob, and we want to get the name from it. And when we run the program, you can see we have here the Bob. This is not from the vector, only those three here, Mike, Bruno and Max, and we iterate through those names in the vector here and add this here as well. So it will say Mike here, Bruno here, Max here. And yeah, that's what we have done, and now I try to explain what I've done. And here, like I said, we have two classes. The bottom one with the vector, and we called it house, and the upper one with human because we want to put the humans in the house. That's because we named it that way. And here in the human sector, this is only here basically to get the name when we want him, when we want the output, of the name of the person, if it's in the vector or not. And we just defined our constructor here. We have to do that every time, and we have our data member, the names, and we just want to return the data member. So in the vector here, we just go to Mike, for example, and then we take Mike here, and this is the data member. Now in here we just want to return Mike, and then it will output us the Mike, and then it goes to the next one, it goes to Bruno and goes up here again, returns Bruno, and everything step by step. And yeah, that's just basically for that case. And then we have built the other class for the vector. And in here it's the difference that we make in this code, because this is also new for me. And here we had to define in our constructor humans, so the database is reserved, and we reserve a place 1. That means we reserve a memory place in our memory, so we can actually have a place where we can store our names. And then we go further to add. That's basically the command for the vector that it adds the name to it. So if we make the definition hotel add and then our human, and we call it Mike, it will automatically go to add here and adds the name to our vector. That's what this does. And then we have here the void house inhabitants. This is just a for loop that iterates through our vector and outputs us all our names. So we can call hotel inhabitants, and we will output all the names like here. And this is done in defining the iterator, say begin at the beginning of the vector and iterate through the end, and always add +1 until you actually get at the end. Then each time you iter one to put them into get name. So we go up here so it can output the name, because that we can call out them separately, and then we have put them out each one separately. First Mike, Bruno, and then Max. And the last one is our main loop, and here you can see we have different callouts. Here we have defined human with hum, it should say human, and we named our first one Bob, like we see here in our debugger. We just call it Bob and it will print it out, and we could do many of them if we want to. And then for the vector we have the house class, and we name it hotel and define it to 3. And if we get better in programming, we could define that to we add +1 if we insert a name, and then we can define a memory place that we can put it in there, and then we can automatically make the hotel add human Mike, adding to the program, so it can store that somewhere else than in the main loop. So we only have to define run this and get to this memory so we can access this code. But we are not at that level now, but I wish I could do it, because I would do it. But for now we make it like this. We just make a new value hotel. We have for 3 spaces, and we fill them with hotel add, and then we call it human for our first class, that it can know it, or we can actually get the name into our vector, and then we name it Mike, Bruno, or Max, or whatever we want to say it. And then we can call it out with hotel inhabitants, and we get all our names. And now I quickly want to talk about which faults I made by writing this code. First, I had the problem that when you define the constructor, sometimes you have to write it like this when you just want to construct the value or the data member. And sometimes, like having down here, when you only have the vector that you want to define in your constructor, you have the brackets in here and you don't have the double point up here, and you just say human reserve places inside, and the syntax was wrong. And another fault that I did is I have put the main loop not here, I put it under the first class here, and when I ran the code I got an error and it said house undeclared identifier and missing something, and this is just because this code down here is not run by anything, and because we haven't called it out from somewhere, and it goes from top to bottom, and it starts after the first class with the main loop, and it has no code for the ones at the line 58 to go through, because there is no class house at the moment. And I had first to figure out where is the error, and I figured it out sooner or later. And yeah, I'm still learning and I improve step by step. And yeah, I think that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it or had some fun watching it. And with that, I say bye.